Hey guys, this is Justin. Hello and welcome to another video. So, Halo Infinite's multiplayer stealth dropped earlier this week and I've put a lot of time into it. 15 plus hours, I'm somewhat embarrassed to admit. What do I think of the game? Is it good? Well, that's what we'll be talking about today, and I'm just going to get it right out of the way. I absolutely love this game. I did not like Halo 4 at all. I did not like Halo 5. I didn't like Halo Reach very much. Halo Infinite is a wonderful return to form for the Halo series, one that Halo fans desperately needed. For me, it nails the key aspects of Halo gameplay, as we'll talk about in a few minutes, but there are still a few key issues I think that the game is going to be facing moving forward. However, thankfully, I think these are issues that Halo can overcome and that they will overcome. But let's get started. We'll go with the good first, then the bad and the ugly later. Just for a bit of context though, before we continue, because the beginning part probably confused a lot of people. I know some of my friends weren't aware of this, but Halo Infinite did get an early multiplayer drop. Now, is this the full game? Largely, I think. They call it a beta, but it seems like most of the content at launch will be here, and that is actually one of the main issues that we'll get to later. But right now, Halo Infinite has 10 multiplayer maps. It really has quick play and ranked play as well, and of course, big team battle. So, the good. The fundamentals of this game are absolutely rock solid. I think everyone pretty much knew that since the first beta, but they've done a good job of removing some of the gimmicky aspects that a lot of Halo fans weren't happy with from the prior game and returning to a really clean arena shooter. The weapons all feel tuned very well. The pistol and the assault rifle have their own place in social and even in ranked in some situations. The pistol especially is very useful because of its quick draw speed. The battle rifle feels great. The movement feels great. I love that sprint has really been tuned down to the point where it's almost not very useful except to move yourself into position. And most of all, when it comes to the main arena gameplay, at least, they've removed a lot of the gimmicks. Thruster, for example, has been moved to an equipment. You don't have things like Promethean Vision or armor lock. And of course, there's nothing like making your own loadout or whatever else that was in Halo 4. A lot of people refer to these aspects sort of disparagingly as the COD aspects of Halo, and I think that is a fair way to put it. Not to say that COD is worse than Halo, a lot of people like it more, but mixing an arena shooter as Halo 4 and Halo 5 did, lesser extent Halo 5, I think brought about a very mixed experience. So the fundamentals of the gameplay are great, the character movement is spot on, the aiming for me, except for a couple of times I've had some bugs and my aim acceleration is broke, feels really wonderful. Just a tip for some of you who may be struggling, consider moving your look dead zones down as far as you can get. Move them to the point where you start experiencing controller drift. If you're on a controller, then move them up slightly, and I'm sure that will probably help your aiming. But yeah, for me, I've been really enjoying it. It's probably the Halo that I'm best at as well. Now, that's probably not completely accurate, to be fair. A lot of it is due to the fact that there's a lot of new players going into it, but in 15 hours, I've spent probably just over half of those in rank. I'm at Diamond 4. I'm trying to get to Onyx before the really good players start getting there, just so I can say I had it at some point. But yeah, the fundamentals of movement and shooting are just really spectacular. I like the new weapons. I am missing some old favorites, like the shotgun especially really feels missing. I think the DMR still does have a place within the sandbox on some of the larger maps, and I think it would have been cool to have that introduced in the Reach season, but those are small complaints. Another really positive feature for me is the maps. These are, gameplay wise at least, the best maps that Halo has had since Halo 3, and I think a lot of these are even better than Halo 3's maps, especially the arena maps. The big team battle maps, I mean, big team battle is pretty easy. Have a base on one side, a base on the other side, throw some stuff in the middle, you're pretty much golden. But the arena maps are so much better, and I think a lot of that can be tied to sprint seriously being toned down. The maps are generally much smaller, or at least tighter. It feels like there's less hallways that are really long because your Spartan moves very fast. And one thing that I found already, even after less than 20 hours of gameplay, I already know these maps really well. Like, I'll subconsciously turn back and use a hallway to flank an enemy, and that's something that I never really did in Halo 4 and Halo 5 because I just don't feel like those maps really encouraged balanced arena play. The maps also work very well for the different game modes. Territories works well because the sightlines on the map are pretty thoughtfully constructed. All in all, I get experiences where I feel like if I play well, I will be successful, and if I play poorly, I won't be successful. That's a great feeling. There's nothing worse in an arena shooter than feeling like the game is actively trying to make you lose. And of course, you will get the occasional bad spawn or whatever else, or sometimes you'll just get bad luck. But all in all, I really like the way they've taken the direction of the game, and that makes me feel so good because these are the foundations that need to be good for the game moving forward. There are also a few smaller things I like. I know this is controversial, but I like the removal of one-hit KOs from at least the oddball. I think they should return it to the flag, but the oddball becomes more interesting when you need to be actively supported by your teammates, and I have had lots of communication, even with just random fill teammates, which is great. When I've play my rank games at higher level and I'm going in solo, I noticed that most of my games have at least one teammate on mic, which is amazing. So yeah, good stuff. Visually, I think the game also looks pretty good. It doesn't blow me away, but I like the art style enough. It's a nice return to form. I like the big details on the big team battle maps. Like every time you score a flag on each one of the 3 maps, something cool happens, whether it's the frigate firing or whatever else. That's a really nice detail. I like the fact that the pelicans drop your weapons and your vehicles off. Very cool. So yeah, overall, very impressed with the bones of the game. There's a lot of really great stuff there, but there are some major issues. By far, the one that people are harping on the most is the battle pass, for good reason. As I said, I've played close to 20 hours. I'm on level 7 of the battle pass, and there are 100 levels. But to me, I think the bigger problem is that the rewards from the battle pass just aren't very good. This is especially the case with the free battle pass. I believe about 40 of the 100 unlocks are just challenge swaps, which is not great. I mean, I paid for the battle pass. For me, I've already put 20 hours into it. It's worth my money, I think. But even on the paid battle pass, some of the highest ranked things is just simple armor recolors that are very similar to the ones you get by default. It just also doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of armor variety, and with seasons being fairly long, I believe this one goes to May, it's like, when are we getting new armor here? I do also understand people's complaints about progression. For those who don't know how it works, is you don't get match-based XP, so if you have an amazing 30 kill match, you may not get any XP. It all depends on whether you fill these challenges, and the challenges can be very frustrating. Like, it can be kill 5 wraiths, so that means that not only do you have to spend time in big team battle, but you probably have to spend a lot of time and get very, very lucky. I've never even seen a wraith yet. They have announced that they will be making some changes, including giving you a base bonus XP per match, which is good, but I still think if they wanted to do a really good job on this, they would reward great performances. Like, I've had a few matches where I'll go like 30-1 or 30-2 and I'll get 0, and that is a little bit frustrating. This isn't really a huge issue for me personally. I think partially because I played so much Halo 3 and even Halo 1 and 2 where you didn't really unlock anything, or if you did, by the time you had everything unlocked, you know, for me, I still had 10 years of playing the game. So the unlocks for me aren't super important. Especially when I play ranked, I get enough rush out of just winning, and performing in ranked means that you get a bigger performance boost and a bigger ranking boost. As an example of what I mean, me and one of my buddies played the same 10 initial ranking games, and I was ranked a Diamond 1 and he was ranked a Silver 2. So for me, that's enough incentive, the ranking system, to want to play well, but I understand why some people are having the problem, and it is a bit disheartening knowing that the system may push some people away from the game, especially people who are more familiar and more acclimated to modern shooters. Another weird issue that bothers me is the paid HCS skins. You may have noticed during this gameplay that I'm showing that I actually bought one of the skins, and that's because there really just aren't very many cool paint jobs available for your armor right now, and even throughout the battle pass. I think there were probably cooler ones in the beta, but what's a little bit frustrating, and they don't do a good job of making this known, is that if you buy this skin, you don't get to customize it at all. The only thing you can change is your prosthetics. You can't change, say, the visor. You can't take the dumb esports org emblem off. Like, I don't know what this esports organization is. I don't want to be a walking advertisement for them. You can't even change the underlying armor. Like, you don't get a paint job that you can use on any armor core or even a specific armor core. That set has to be locked exactly as it is, as is the case with some of the Halo Reach stuff, and that's just a really weird choice for me. And these skins are not cheap. The one that I bought was $15 Canadian. The store prices, by the way, are expensive. I mean, whatever. It's a free-to-play game. It is a bit disappointing for me personally, because I probably would throw money out for the occasional skin, but if they are going to be $15 for a skin or a piece of armor, I don't think that's something I will be doing. I think the other main issue is content, just the amount of content. Now, for one, right now there's not a lot in the way of game modes. There's a quick game mode and there's a ranked game mode, and that's pretty much it alongside Big Team Battle. So you can't play Ranked Slayer. There's a ton of sub-game modes missing, like objective types or SWAT that just aren't there. I assume and I really hope that that's just a thing because we're in the beta right now, but there's not really a lot in the way of content. There's also only 5 ranked arena maps. One of them, launch site, gets taken out, so there's 5 maps. It does become a bit repetitive, and admittedly that's pretty par for the course with what Halo usually launches, but with this being a free-to-play experience and a much bigger Halo multiplayer, I'm not gonna lie, I was hoping for a bit more, not only in terms of maps, but also in equipment. The equipment is one of the most fun parts of the game. I absolutely love it. I love Thruster now that's part of equipment. The Repulsor is so much fun, as is the grappling hook. I'm glad they made their way into rank mode, but I don't know, like, I feel like there's so much opportunity for other cool equipment. Now, some of this will be coming in the future. That's the great thing about a live service game. There are bad aspects, but good aspects as well. I think it would have been really nice for them to have included a Reach remake map in this. Like, it would be nice, I think, if every season they had maybe one new map and one remake map. So, like, maybe in season 2 we get a brand new map for multiplayer, but we also get Guardian in new Halo Infinite form. That way you're slowly populating more maps and you're nicely working in a mix of classic and new. And they don't just have to be arena, they could be Big Team Battle or whatever else. That's just what I hope for. And I also assume somewhat, maybe this is wrong, that classic maps are also a little bit easier to remaster than straight up making a new map. Like, you've already got the map logic itself worked out. You probably aren't gonna be able to reuse much of the visual aspects, but at least you have kind of the concept down and you'll know the ones that are already popular with fans. Just an opinion though. All in all, I love this game. I'm going to be playing it for a long time. This is going to be probably the Halo that I'm still playing in 3 years, 5 years, maybe longer. Well, let me know what you think. How much time have you put into Halo Infinite? If you played your 10 ranking matches, where did you come out? And I guess just your overall thoughts based on how much you've played. Until next time though, guys, be safe, have a good one, and may the Force be with you.